Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the will of the majority is being thwarted in this House, the People's House. Mr. Boehner, our Speaker, said when he took office as Speaker, the House worked best when the House was allowed to work its will. Mr. Speaker, let the House work its will. We are about to take a vote on whether this House should move to reopen the Export-Import Bank and save thousands of jobs that Speaker Boehner has admitted will be lost without our action. The Export-Import Bank is a critical tool that supports job creation here in America by helping American businesses compete in foreign markets. In other words, making goods here with American workers and selling them abroad. That's what we need to be doing. The Export-Import Bank facilitates that happening. It has over 300 votes out of 435 on this floor. But we cannot vote if it's not brought to the floor. When the Speaker and Majority Leader allowed the bank's authorization to expire in June, they did so with the full knowledge that a reauthorization has the votes to pass and will pass with strong bipartisan support if brought to the floor. Now we have a chance to defeat the previous question and bring that bill to the floor today. Now I want to say, Mr. Speaker, to some of my colleagues who may be new, that voting down this rule, defeating the previous question, is a vote to open the Export-Import Bank. Now, I know some of you will say, well, it's a procedural vote. My party makes me do this. Well, if you have that answer, look in the eye those who are losing their jobs and saying, I had to do this for my party. Not my country, not the competitiveness of America, not for American jobs, not for American businesses, but I voted against the previous question, or I voted for the previous question, for my party. Sometimes, my friends, party demands too much. When you raise your hand, it is to defend the Constitution and laws thereof. But in a real sense, it is to defend and make America better. Let's refuse to engage in what Chamber of Commerce CEO Tom Donahue today called a unilateral disarmament in the face of other governments' far more aggressive export credit agencies. Let me repeat that. That's Tom Donahue, President of the Chamber of Commerce. The Republican Party used to be a party of business. A party wanted to grow jobs. We talk about that all the time. Well, my friends on the Republican side of the aisle, you have an opportunity to do that on this upcoming vote. Don't do, as Tom Donahue today said you might do, a unilateral disarmament in the face of other governments' far more aggressive export credit agencies. Last week, General Electric announced that it would be moving 500 jobs from New York, Texas, South Carolina, and Maine to Europe and China because of the failure of this Congress to pass the Export-Import Bank reauthorization. There are over 300 votes for that on this floor. The American people think we're dysfunctional. They are right. They don't trust us because they don't think their board of directors is doing the job they sent us here to do. They're right. They're angry. They're anxious. let us for once this day, we haven't funded the government yet, hopefully we'll get that done, but let at least this day, given this opportunity, on this previous question, say we are going to make America competitive. We're not going to unilaterally disarm. This is something the Business Roundtable wants us to do. It's something the Chamber of Commerce wants us to do. It's something the National Association of Manufacturers wants us to do. And it is something that organized labor wants us to do. But in the face of unity of purpose, in the face of a majority of votes on this floor, party regularity still says tough. Tough. Yes, there may be 300 votes on this floor, but we're not going to allow it to come to the floor. Ladies and gentlemen, in your offices or on this floor, America expects you to do better. America expects you to be responsible. America does not want you to be simply partisan. America does not want you to be cowed by a small minority of this and by radical groups outside this House who threaten members they'll spend $1 million or $2 million or $3 million to defeat them in a primary. America wants us to do the right thing. America wants us to have the courage of our convictions. America expects this House to reflect the majority opinion, not be dictated to by a small minority. Mr. Speaker, allow your members to vote to vote against the previous question. And if you do so, we will bring to this floor the reauthorization of the Export-Import Bank. And ladies and gentlemen of this House, and all Americans ought to know as well, it will pass. Bring the Export-Import Bank bill reauthorization to this floor so America can continue to be competitive and create jobs here in America. That's what our constituents want us to do. Vote against the previous question. I yield back the balance.